All right, let's just jump right in. Imagine this for a second. You stumble upon an unpublished manuscript, and not just from anyone, but from a literary giant like Juan Rulfo. A whole world just sitting there, filled with ghosts and grief, a story nobody has ever seen. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. This is the lost story of Los que Quedaron, or Those Who Remain. So the story kicks off with this line, and boom, just like that, the journey begins. And this isn't just any journey, right? It's born from a promise made to his dying mother, a quest to find whatever it was she left behind. So our narrator, he ignores all the warnings and just follows her name into this land that feels like it's been completely forgotten by the living world.
So where does this journey take him? Well, first it takes us into this deep, almost weaponized silence. Our narrator walks into a town that honestly feels way more like a grave than a home. The town's name is San Jenaro, and as he's walking through its streets, it's eerie. The dust literally swallows every sound, even his own footsteps. The houses look like teeth in a skull's jaw. And that silence, it's not empty. No way. It's heavy. It's watchful. You get the feeling it has teeth. And this is where he has his first run-in with the town's, let's call them, true inhabitants. This voice just comes out of nowhere, confirming what he's looking for, but it just makes the mystery even deeper. She's not here, but she left something behind. His mother is gone, but something of her remains. And he's about to learn that in a place like San Jenaro, what gets left behind, well, it has a permanence that the living can never, ever escape. So yeah, that creepy encounter forces us, and him, to look a whole lot deeper. We've got to understand what San Jenaro really is, because it's pretty clear it's not just some town on a map. It's something way stranger. Which brings us to the big question, right? The one the narrator's facing, and so are we. What is this place? Is it just a ghost town? Or are we playing by a completely different set of rules here? And then he gets an answer from one of those spectral inhabitants that just changes everything. San Jenaro isn't a place you can just visit and then leave. It's a condition. It's something you fall into, kind of like a spiritual gravity well that has no escape. The physics here are all messed up, especially time. Time doesn't move forward, it folds. Imagine a piece of paper. The past isn't back there, it's pressed right up against the present. Every single moment, love, tragedy, hope, it's all happening at once, replaying over and over in this endless, echoing loop. And get this, in San Jenaro, even you aren't permanent. Your identity, yourself, it dissolves over time. Souls literally merge with the place itself. They become the dust in the air, the silence that hangs over everything, that oppressive weight that everyone feels. And that word, weight, brings us to the absolute core concept of this entire story, the one idea that defines everything and everyone here. It's called el peso, the weight. So what is it? Think of it like a spiritual gravity. It's the combined mass of every story, every death, every ounce of grief tied to this land, and it's an inheritance you can't refuse. Once you feel its pull, that's it. You're part of it. Forever. Now, this weight didn't just pop into existence. It grew over time. It all started with a single seed of sorrow, a stillborn child. Then came the mine collapse, which basically killed the town's entire future, trapping all those souls in the earth. Then, the living gave up and left, leaving this huge vacuum. And finally, the weight got so strong, it started pulling back the souls of everyone who ever had a connection to this place, no matter how far away they'd gone. And here's the crazy paradox of it all, which we hear from an old miner named Rosendo. The more you fight the weight, the heavier it gets. Resisting is just pointless. The only way to get even a little bit of relief is to just accept it. Total unconditional acceptance of your fate. Okay, so when the narrator finally understands this, it forces this huge psychological shift in him. I mean, his whole reason for being here has to completely change now that he's facing this impossible reality. It's a shift from one state of being to another. See, he arrives searching. That's an act of hope, right? It's an individual's quest, and it assumes that escape is possible. But to survive in San Jenaro, he has to learn to wait. And waiting is totally different. It's an act of acceptance. It's a collective state of being that just acknowledges there's nowhere else to go. And that's his transformation right there. He stops fighting. He just gives in.
And in that surrender, what he finds isn't defeat, it's belonging. He finally understands that this place, this weight, it's his home. So you have to wonder, right? If no one can ever leave, what's the point of all this eternal waiting? Well, the climax of the story gives us a really surprising and honestly a deeply moving answer. Okay, so throughout the book, we see these heartbreaking loops. There's this one story about a mother named Consuelo. She's just endlessly digging in a dry riverbed for her lost child, Esperanza. And Esperanza is sitting right there, nearby, but her mother can't see her. They're trapped together, but totally alone in their grief. Now, our narrator, he doesn't try to fix it. He can't. He just stands with them. He bears witness to their pain. And this right here, this is the core insight of the whole manuscript. In a place where doing anything physical is completely meaningless, the simple act of being present for someone else, of truly seeing their sorrow, that becomes the most powerful action you can possibly take. And because of that one shared moment, that act of witnessing, something fundamental shifts. The weight doesn't go away, but it changes. Because it's shared, it becomes bearable. And the silence of the town, for the very first time, feels just a little bit lighter. Not a lot, but just enough. Just enough to matter.
And that leaves us with a final, powerful question. This lost story seems to suggest that maybe escape isn't the point at all. What if the weights that we all carry, our own grief, our history, our memories, what if they aren't meant to be put down? What if the only real escape, the only salvation, is found when we turn to the person next to us and simply help them carry theirs?